it's okay if I don't know. It's okay if it's a little bit off. I'm just going to sit in creation. That's the other thing I love about this, is that the healing happens while you're creating.
Welcome to Zestful Aging, the podcast where we celebrate aging with vibrance and we defy the stereotypes of what it means to age. I'm your host, Nicole Christina, a psychotherapist of more than 30 years, here to introduce you to my off-the-mainstream guests who will energize and inspire you. My hope is to create optimism about getting older and help you cultivate zest and joy in this season of your life. And I love to hear feedback from you, my listeners. Please drop me a line at zestfulaging@gmail.com. I read every single comment. And to find out more about this podcast, hop on over to zestfulaging.com. Well, sometimes we accidentally come across something that changes our lives. And you've heard me talk about my local creative hub that I attend monthly and how sweet it is. Well, not long ago, my friend Laraine brought in a sample of something called neurographic art. And I thought to myself, that's really strange looking and even a little ugly. And I'm more of a botanical Zen kind of doodler kind of gal. So I was just like, nope, not doing that. And then I saw something online that intrigued me, a free webinar that taught something called neurographic art and the science behind it. And they were talking about rewiring your brain with these very strange looking drawings. And I was kind of intrigued. So I took the free class and nothing's been the same since then. And I've been a psychotherapist for 35 years, and I want to say that this technique helped me access beliefs that I was well aware of, but I didn't understand that they were still driving the bus, so to say. And at this point, my friends are probably tired of hearing me talk about this. I actually ordered an electric pencil sharpener because my colored pencils are getting dull. So I am so excited and honored that we're speaking today to Ann Ferguson, and she is one of only a handful of certified neurographic specialists in the United States. She's going to talk to us about this fun and cutting-edge technique to access and address the beliefs that are causing problems in our lives. Welcome to the show, Ann.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I am passionate about neurographics, and it's so fun to get the opportunity to just speak about it, share about it, let people know how life-changing it really is.
It's when we were talking earlier, I said, you want to use it carefully because, wow, it really brings things up in a way that's so powerful. And I'm going to say the first time I did it after your masterclass, I was a little unsettled.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a typical response?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I was like, wait, as you can imagine, I'm a big proponent of therapy. I've done my own therapy. And I'm very familiar with a lot of different techniques to kind of get into the subconscious, but wow.
Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of excitement in my voice when I go, yeah. And that means it's happening. Like that's what is happening, is the neural pathways are being rewritten. And the first time that I drew, the next day, I had a friend who did it first because I'm actually kind of a born skeptic. And so I said, here, you try.
I love that.
And so she kind of explained some things about her experience. And I'm like, okay, weird. And then I did it. And then the next day, I felt lost a little bit. Like I was kind of lost. Now, I'm going to caveat this with I had just had surgery and was on drugs. So I was blaming it on that.
Bad combination.
And so I called my friend and I'm like, I'm just so weird. She goes, wait a minute, you did a drawing, didn't you? And I go, yeah, but that's not it. She goes, no, but that's it. And she was right. I was having this block surrounding money, which was really kind of rare for me. I had people that owed me money. And every time I think about them and I go to call them, all of a sudden my dishes need to be made or need to be done, or the vacuuming had to be done. I was so productively procrastinating making these phone calls. And I had seen the Mindful Line workshop. This was February 2024. They came into the States in January of 2024. So it was January 24 when I first saw this. And every time I saw it, I would go, ooh, that's interesting if it works. And then my skeptic would come up and then I'd go, whatever. And I'd leave it alone.
Right.
And so now in February, I'd had this surgery. I saw it again. And I said, wow, that's fascinating if it works. I don't have time. And the truth was, I was sitting on the couch on drugs watching Doctor Who. Because that's what you do. It's a really good thing to do. And so I was kind of condemned because it was like, wait a minute, I do have time and I'm left-handed. It was my right hand that had the surgery.
Okay. Oh boy. So it's a little hard to make excuses at that point.
It was very hard to make excuses. I had seen it and rejected it several times. Right. So the course was, they talked about money and I didn't even have to have what was my limiting belief. It's just anything. And I went, okay, I'll do the stupid thing, anything. And I had the weirdest experience. I had 10 hot flashes in the middle of that drawing. Like my body got involved in it. Going, no, this is not what we do. Right. I didn't know that was a thing, that not just the hot flashes, but other things like you'll get like a little bit of a headache or a shoulder will tighten, or you'll feel tingling. Like it's just because the body is responding to the neural pathways that are being rewritten and the subconscious that's trying to hang on to it all.
It's
right?
so weird.
It is.
I tried to explain it to my friends and it was not a great explanation, but I'm like, think about patting your belly and rubbing your head at the same time while you're brushing your teeth with your left hand. It's just like all like, ooh, what is this?
And literally all you're doing is coloring.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's simple. It can be done anywhere. Obviously on drugs while you're in surgery or coming out of surgery.
I did it in the car yesterday
with
the heat on because I was waiting for my son and I'm like, he's going to be a while. I got pencils. Let me do this.
Well, what's fascinating is what happened for me on the back end of this. So like I said, I was having a hard time calling people who owed me money, right? And I tell my friend, no, it's not the drawing. That's just stupid, whatever. And 6 days later, there was $4,000 in my account.
Ew.
Now that isn't because a stork dropped $4,000 in my lap. What happened was I would think about the people who owed me money and I would pick up the phone and next thing I know, I'm just talking to them and they're going, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Thank you so much. Send me the link. I'll get it to you right now. And so later on, as I was trying to understand what had happened, a memory came up. Now, notice it didn't come up while I was drawing, but a memory came up about my dad asking his stepdad for money when I was really young. I probably 8 or 9 years old. And I heard the story later. I don't remember it in the moment, but I know that my stepdad said, or my step-grandfather said no, because he was this cattle rancher that only dealt with cash. He didn't do loans. No. Now, my parents didn't really talk about money in front of me necessarily, but boy, did I know you don't ask for money. Like you don't ask for it, right? You earn it. You work for it. And so what I came to understand at that point is that many of our limiting beliefs or negative programming or whatever we want to call it, they actually are stored emotionally. They're not stored with language. So there was a feeling that my dad had about asking for money. And that shut down. And he was actually feeling that. And the failure and the worry and the disappointment, and he shouldn't have ever asked. And all of whatever he was feeling, I absorbed those emotions.
Mhm.
And so that's why me trying to access it wasn't possible. Because I didn't even know that it existed, right? Until later. And I'd done a lot of work on affirmations about I have permission to ask for money. It's okay for me to be paid what I'm worth, and all of those things. I'd worked for years on those things.
Right.
So it was really strange that it had come up to that degree, right? The other part of that is in January, February, March-ish, I have that seasonal affective disorder. And so I'm kind of in a real funk anyway, because I didn't have enough light going on. And so getting myself motivated to do something that felt hard to me,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's
Forget
so
it.
hard to fight through.
You just want to climb in bed and eat carbohydrates.
Yeah, exactly. Or watch Doctor Who, all of those things. But yes. And so the fact that I was able to just sit and draw, even in that state of that funk, I call it the I don't wannas. I don't want to get up. I don't want to eat. I don't want to shower. I don't want to, right? Even in that funk of I don't wannas, my neural pathways got rewritten. So how I describe this about neural pathways is, sometimes when I'm really upset and things haven't gone my way, my neural pathway says chocolate will help, right? It's only a neural pathway. At some point, chocolate did help, I thought. And so very literally, the neurons that wire together.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
That had wired about chocolate. And so it wasn't really that chocolate is the thing that helps me the most, but that's where my brain goes. So I've done this on health stuff where I've gone, okay, what's getting in the way of me eating healthy? Like, I don't have to go into the memory. I don't have to force myself. I just go, you know what? I just want to eat healthier. What's getting in that way? Right there. And so as I did the drawing, now I grab an apple. And it's not even me trying to force myself to do so. That's the new neural pathway is healthy.
That's the program you're running. It's a new program.
That's the magic. And it's happened in relationships. I've been married for 18 years, and I've got a wonderful, wonderful man who doesn't know how to access emotions very well. And so the level of emotional intimacy sometimes is really rough. Now, I can't draw for him because this is very biological. Like, we're not talking good feelings thrown into the air and good things happen. We're talking about biologics and that our neural pathways get rewritten. So I can't write for him. I don't have his neural pathways. However, I, want him to show up as a partner. Well, what am I doing that isn't showing up in partnership? And so my parents didn't have a great marriage. So I didn't see partnership. I didn't have that modeling. I've worked really hard and all that, but there's still these pathways about what you do speak and what you don't speak and how you communicate. And obviously we marry somebody who's going to trigger those things so that we can heal, right? And so I have this man who doesn't always connect emotionally and with partnership. And so I did these drawings around communication and around partnership, and I started showing up differently. And so did he. Because you cannot change a relationship dynamic without the other person adjusting somehow.
Yes, it's like a mobile, right? When you pull one piece, it changes everything. Well, hi, Zesties. In addition to being a podcaster and psychotherapist, I'm an avid thrifter. And I think it's something you either love or you hate. I've always loved finding treasures, and it makes me happy to keep things out of the landfill. You may already know that fast fashion is a real scourge on the environment. And I have a few podcast episodes that explore this. One of my favorites is with Eric Minter, who's the world's authority on the secondhand market. His book, Secondhand, is really recommended. And here I'm digressing. The reality is that I love to thrift, but I also like to wear the same basic outfit. So I've started an account on eBay I wanted to tell you about. Here's a humble brag. I have an eye for quality pieces. Linen and cashmere are my favorites, and I'd love you to check it out. Go on eBay and type in Nikki's Thrifty, and it's NICKY''S Thrifty with a Y, and see what you think. I'd love your feedback.
Right. And one of the important things to know, this is called an algorithm.
Yes.
Right. So an algorithm is a step-by-step process. You don't skip a step. Right. You do this first, and then you do this next, and then you do this. And it's literally mindset work on steroids. Right? Mindset work is, I have to do this so that my brain understands that. Right. We do that in this process. The most common is a release drawing, releasing of those negative experiences or those limiting beliefs. But there are others that build and grow.
I see.
One of my favorites is an expansion drawing where I can sit. In fact, this is how I got connected to Mindful Line. There's an expansion drawing that I did based on one of the courses, and it kind of says, here's where you feel you are right now. So I was very literally doing this about clients and impact. And so my little circle was pretty small. There had been some things in my own organization that kind of crumbled, and I just kind of felt kind of small, right? And so I put my circle on this line, kind of like a growth chart line going up on a diagonal.
Okay.
And I put me, this is where I felt the clients that I knew I could just really easily, this is how many flow in every month without me really trying, right? The next circle was how many feels really sufficient, right? Just successful. I'm just really sufficient in that. So it was a bigger circle. And then how much feels like you can play? Like you've got, and for me, it was people coming towards me that I wasn't having one-to-one conversations with first. Like people who are finding me, who are coming into my space of coaching and mindset work. And then the last one is how many is so many you don't even know what to do with. So we're talking we're talking impact, right? How many are so many people that I don't even know who are hearing my voice? Like right now, this is a manifestation of that drawing. Right? So what happened was I did that. And have you ever heard of the book, The Big Leap? Have you ever heard about The Big Leap?
Doesn't have a picture of a fish on it. And who was the author? I think I interviewed him. He's a pretty prominent thought leader.
So one of his theories, and as the thing that he teaches, is that we kind of have a temperature gauge, if you will, like a thermostat.
Yes, an internal
comfort zone.
Yes.
Right?
Feeling.
Yes. And so what happens is as you go past that, every once in a while you can bounce up on top of that and go, oh my gosh, this is what success looks like. And then there'll be a trigger that pulls you back into comfort, just like a thermostat in your house, right?
Doesn't he call it an upper limit something? Yeah, he has a great phrase. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what this drawing does is help you break through that upper limit. And the reason is because what happens is when we go into success, our body actually has not felt this before. And so it feels uncomfortable. And so just like when you're outside and you're shivering, you go put clothes on so you can get back to your normal. Our bodies do that. So what happens?
Homeostasis.
Yes. So as we're drawing and we're thinking about each one of these different levels, what is now, what feels sufficient, what feels just playful, and what is so much I don't even know what to do with. As we're sitting in each one of those areas, we're contemplating, but more than that, we're just drawing and we're letting our mind flow. And like I said, the body sometimes will get involved. Like you'll have a headache, you'll have, your heart will start to rush. And then as you do what we call rounding, I'll explain that in a second. As you do that, the nervous system calms down.
Oh, I see. It's a stress. I think you're describing a stress response.
It is.
And then you have to comfort yourself in a way.
And so the rounding process actually does that. So what we've just done is we've got a new idea, a new way of thinking. We've contemplated it. We've let ourselves experience it in advance. And then we've soothed the nervous system, says, no, it's okay. You can be right here. This is fine.
Wow.
The very day after I drew this is when the people at Mindful Line called me. And we were in the process of me becoming the English voice of the company. And the reason I say this is coming from Russia.
Yes.
Pavel Piskarev is the creator of this. He is a psychologist. But what's interesting is I found out that in Russia, to be a psychologist, you also have to be a psychiatrist. They have to do all the neuroscience work as well.
I see.
Right. And so he developed this in a way to help open up and retrain these neural pathways. The activity that your brain is doing while you're drawing and what you're seeing and the hand-eye coordination, all of that is actually playing into very literal biologics in your brain, which I find just absolutely fascinating.
Well, what I find fascinating too is you'll talk about rounding off, but it is palpable.
Yeah.
When you are rounding off these lines, it's like, ooh, there's a feeling. In some ways it's subtle, but it's also like, ooh, it's like scratching an itch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to talk about what that is, and it's hard, it's easier to show it, but I'm sure you can explain it.
Sure. So there are two major principles about how to start to challenge the beliefs that we have and how to resolve any kind of conflict that comes up. One is called a mindful line or a neurographic line. So usually when we think of a line, we think of a straight, here's point A, here's point B. Mm-hmm. And if you were to section that out, each section would look exactly the same. It's just a line. It's just like, let's use the chocolate example. I feel upset. My pathway is go to chocolate. It is a repeating pattern. Mm-hmm. Let's pretend like, the line is a loop. It just loops and it loops and it loops and loops. That is the pattern that my brain goes to. That is what happens.
And every time you have chocolate when you're stressed, it strengthens that line.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so it strengthens that line. So what we do is we let go in a really interesting way. You put your hand down on that paper with the pen, and you can direct it. Maybe I'm going to go from left to right. But instead of going straight, if I feel like I want to go to the right, I go up just a little bit. I challenge it. What it ends up looking like is if you were going to try to outline clouds, right? Really puffy ones. They weave and they wander. Or if you're going to look down on a river bed and you watch the path that a river takes, it's windy, right? It's not this straight thing. It just kind of winds and meanders. So that mindful line just meanders. And what it's doing is it's challenging the fact that every single thing might have something different. So it's bringing you into a state of a little bit of resistance. Because you go, no, this is not how we do it. No. This is the path that I take.
It doesn't feel natural because it's a well-worn path.
Correct. And so we're going off of the path. I love the fact that you said that because like I went hiking with my granddaughter and we call her the contrarian. She cannot walk on the path that everybody else does. It's got to be on the path on the side. She challenges the path. Right? And so that's what we've got to do. We have to challenge the path. Now, when we do that, we put several lines down. Lines will intersect. Every place that it intersects, you have created angles, right? So there's triangles in an intersection. And what happens is as you are visually seeing this, you start to become a little bit agitated, if you will. Like it doesn't feel settling. It's not like you're going into any kind of real anxiety or rage or anything like that, but you just don't feel settled when you're looking at it. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we take the pen and we go in towards that triangle or that angle and we fill it in. And that is rounding it off. And when you do that on all four sides, what's fascinating is it ends up looking like a neuron. right?
Mhm.
And so
Yes, it does.
it actually is triggering the mirroring neurons in our mind. And so all of a sudden there's this feeling of resolution. Oh, that feels better. Right? Now it's calm. Now it's rounded. And again, biologically, your nervous system is regulating, is calming down.
So would you call this, Anne, a representation of what's going on in your brain at this point? Is that
Absolutely.
Yes, okay, okay.
And you have, what's beautiful is that you have control over that, right? You get to round, you get to say, hey, there's a place of conflict in me right now, and I'm going to change what that looks like in me. And I'm
Mm.
going to feel it. One of the things that I do with mindset work, I kind of take it at a different direction. Most people, when they're talking about mindset, is all of that positive thinking and visualization and all of that. And while great, there is a missing link. For neural pathways to be rewritten, we have to have repetition and emotion. And so we can say affirmations over and over and over again until we believe it. But many times when we're saying it, we're actually feeling doubtful and like you're lying to yourself,
Mhm.
right? And so it actually takes a really long time because you don't have an agreement between your emotional state and your thoughts. So what happens when we're doing the neurographics is our emotional state gets kicked up. Well, that doesn't feel right. That feels off. I'm not settled. And then when we settle it, we're actually giving ourselves that emotional at the
Mhm.
same time that we're thinking of brand new thoughts.
I see. Oh,
And
I
so
see. Okay.
that's what makes the connection, is that we have the emotional response on top of the actual thought patterns. It's
I
beautiful.
see. It's wild.
Mhm.
And you as I said earlier, you need to do it thoughtfully. If you're gonna have to go to some, social event or whatever, you wanna make sure you're being thoughtful about when to do this because what I found is it's like talk therapy is great, but it's like cleaning the first floor.
Mhm.
This is like going in the basement and
Well,
cleaning the corners.
absolutely. There's actually the theory behind Pavlov Piskodev's stuff is that there are 7 layers of our subconscious mind.
Uh-huh.
We are just usually on talk therapy, we are touching the ego. We're just touching
Mhm.
the top. But
Mhm.
there are conscious, there's a community consciousness.
Yes.
There's an ancestral consciousness. There is and an overall, for instance, like an archetyping. We all know in every culture what the archetype of mother is. Like that's universal,
Mhm.
right? Our colors, when we start to color these, we're actually hitting that archetypal level. Like as you draw, you're hitting every single level of the subconscious mind in order
Mhm.
to pull everything out and put it. Now, some people ask, how many times do I need to draw in order for something to happen? Like I had a very, very powerful, really quick experience with that that $4,000 that came, right? That's not always the case. I did many drawings with relationships. And that's because there are different levels, different experiences, different things. And so how many times you draw? Well, as many as it takes.
Mhm.
Right. But if you think about how long you are in talk therapy, how many
Mhm.
times you go back and you hit the same thing at a different angle.
Well, it's interesting you say that because when I have been drawing on one topic, I'm noticing some shifts. It's
Mhm.
not like, oh, well, that's all cleaned out now. Next, it's not that. But what I've noticed is the drawings have a little more room, a little bit more
Mhm.
ease. That's not exactly the right word, but there's also something about putting your unconscious on paper
Mhm.
that I find very liberating. It's like, okay, these dark, worries and beliefs and experiences, here they are. And there's something about putting it on paper that I find it makes it feel like, okay, I can manage this now.
Mhm.
Is that an experience you've heard as well?
Yeah. It, like I said, takes it out of the closet. One of my favorite things
Yes.
about my kids is I have 5 children, and there was a show that my kids watched around Halloween time, and it really freaked them out. And of course, the older brother becomes the older brother and tells the younger daughter that the boogeyman is going to come get her and go up through her veil.
Nice.
And I have no idea what's going on. But I decided, I got this brilliant idea, and I said, I'm going to make scary thing repellent. So I got a water bottle and put good smelly stuff into it and labeled it scary thing repellent. And we put a little bit of glitter in it, and we squirted it under her bed because scary things don't like glitter. And then I gave it to her in her bed so that she could squirt, right? We made it manageable, and it took maybe 2 days, and the scary things were gone. For me, that's what these drawings do. They just bring the scary thing out and go, oh, it's not that bad.
And it's so funny because I did a drawing yesterday, and some of this I think defies vocabulary. And I looked at it, and as you said, it's weird looking, it's sci-fi looking, but there I looked at it and I thought, I love this. And it wasn't because it was some funky fern with some beautiful abstract doodles or what, it wasn't because it was composed beautifully there's something that's like, yes, it's like it feels like a key in a lock.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful. Now, with that being said, I love the fact that you said it's not because it had beautiful composure, because the first drawing that I did, I still don't like it. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. There's no flow to it. It's messy. Like, there are so many lines, and it's just messy. And I'm glad I did how I was told in that workshop, to just let it flow no matter what was going on. I realized, oh my gosh, I've got a lot of perfectionism that is trying to get involved in this. And that stops me, right? Perfectionism will stop you. It doesn't look right. It's not how I'm supposed to do it. It's not my best work. I'm an A student. This looks like C work, right? And that could be how I'm showing up in other places. And so to be able to go, oh, actually, it doesn't have to look beautiful for you to have written these neural pathways, which I am grateful for. I've never taken an art class. I was a dancer. I danced professionally with a ballet company when I was in high school. And so I was always in the studio. I was never sitting down and coloring. And so I've always told myself, I'm not an artist. I'm just not an artist. The minute I did neurographics, even though I didn't like it, something happened. And then I started practicing, like yoga. And I don't have to be an artist, because the drawing, it manifests itself. Like, you sit in a lot of intuition. Like, for instance, when you go to color, you can say, okay, what colors feel good? I will grab 4 colors, and I'll kind of play with them in my hand and go, which one of you wants to go first? And there's one that will jump out. And I go, okay, where do you want to be? And because I've rounded things out, I've got these interesting patterns and paths. And so I'll just go, where do you want to be? And I'll see a shape on the paper, and I will just kind of outline that shape. And then I'll do that until that color's done and I can feel it. And I go, okay, now what? And then I'll pick up another color. So I'm staying in this really, really intuitive space. I'm not thinking it through.
Yep.
Right. And it's that responsiveness to what is known. Your subconscious knows everything. It has every person you have ever met, every situation, every emotion. It's just this great, big, huge filing cabinet. And it knows. Like, where you need to be, you say, hey, I need to direct this. I need something to change here. And then you become responsive. And it's beautiful because it gets us out of our head and into our body.
Is there any particular topic, because we're on zestful aging, and I'm thinking about middle age, particularly for women, and how many changes and adjustments, losses, just everything is topsy-turvy. Are there particular topics that you've seen your students gravitate towards who are in that phase of life?
There are several. I find quite a few women going towards finances, and they may have grown up in the generation where I'm going to stay home or be with my husband or whatever, but the primary breadwinner is, I find a lot of women that to have their own money, they kind of go, and who is my husband to me now? Like if he's not the provider, now what? And so being able to shift some of those, like that was a situation with my mom. She always had extra money, and she used her extra money to buy us all of the extra little stuff. But for her own self to have an income that was disposable for her, she didn't have. So what that means is I don't have the modeling, or in other words, I don't have the neural pathways. So I did this release drawing that surrounded that and said, where's my resistance, if you will, of me being successful in my own right? For myself, by myself, not disconnecting from my partner, not making them irrelevant, not coming up on top and being, more than. It's just rising in my own power.
Rising in my own power sounds like it's the sort of the mantra for, postmenopausal women.
Absolutely. Rising in it, just becoming all that you are, and giving yourself permission to do so. And then there's also a theme of this perfectionism, right?
Okay.
That I see women coming up with and just being dropped off. Like it's okay if I don't know. It's okay if it's a little bit off. I'm just going to sit in creation. That's the other thing I love about this, is that the healing happens while you're creating. Like that's beautiful to me. So poetic.
Yes.
Right? Is that I'm creating my life. I'm creating this drawing. And that's what is the healing, is my willingness to start to create. Sometimes for the first time, right? Health is always a big one.
Okay.
Our bodies are doing crazy town.
Yeah, they are.
It's like, wait a minute, what is going on right now?
I don't even know what to call this.
Yes. One of the things that I've noticed is that it's not like all of this. Sometimes people, yes, all of a sudden start to eat healthy, but there's another level of this, and that is the answers to what you need to become healthy, whether that be a doctor or hormone replacement therapy or something else. You'll be very responsive to it instead of doing the yeah buts and pushing it away. And so it may not be that all of a sudden you eat healthy, but it may be that the thing that you need to be healthy steps in and you accept it very easily.
I see. Wow. It's so good. It's so good. And I want to say that, I've taken a lot of webinars and training over the years, but I thought that your webinar, it was so rich. You just had a really nice way about you and just introducing it. And it was so compelling. And I wish I had a better word, because that's kind of a nerdy word, but I was like, I am freaking loving this right now. It was just like I didn't want to be doing anything else but hearing, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? It was an adventure. It was like a little adventure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for telling me that was the impact that it had on you, because that just matters, that people are connecting to this. It is so new in the United States. It is just barely 2 years in.
Wow.
Now, with that being said, you can search on YouTube and find neurographics, whatever on YouTube.
Oh, yes, you can.
I can tell within seconds whether or not somebody has done this through the actual algorithm or with a certified person who's taught them the algorithm. And I want to make sure that we understand that. I can teach you the algorithm so that you know how to do it. And then, like you said, you drew in the car, right? Then you can just take this tool and just work and work and work. But looking at drawings and go, oh, well, I see what they did. I can do this and I can do that and I can do this. It's not the same. Like there is a very rigorous certification program that goes into the neuroscience and the subconscious and what is happening. And so being able to lead that or have someone who is certified lead you through those processes is vital. One of the things I love the idea of is, I can have scissors. I know how to cut. Give me your hair. Let's do it.
Yeah, I have to tell you what came to my mind, and I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, you can make sourdough bread with yeast, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same. And so I just caution people
Yes.
to be very careful.
Yes, because it seems easy. There's a way in which you're like, okay, you do it, and then you color it in. And I saw those on Pinterest. I saw those on YouTube, and I'm like, this is not the same as what I had experienced.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend who I've done several drawings with and led her through some things. And she went to a retreat, and somebody did neurographics as part of the retreat. And she goes, it's not even the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she goes, I don't know what they were doing, but it's a copycat, right? It's not the same. And what we've got to remember is that it's actual biologics, right? We're physically actually changing the brain. So one of the things that keeps us safe in this is that every single intersection needs to be rounded out before you leave that drawing. You don't have to color, but you do have to do that. Why? Because when you've crossed these lines, you've provided this feeling of unsettled. And to get back to that homeostasis that we talked about,
Right.
You need to do that before you leave it.
Okay, that's great to remember. Can I just tell you, I mean, I love all of the parts, but the part that I have been just like, I can't even stand how much I love this, is the, and you're going to have to help me with the vocabulary, but the energetic lines. And is that field lines?
Yeah, the field
lines. The field lines. So, the energy and the metaphysical aspect and like drawing that, I'm like, here we go. Charge it up. And there's something so gorgeous about, I mean, I'm getting tearful because you feel like you are conducting that energy to your own benefit. And it just, it's hard to put into words, but like, I can't help but smile when I do that.
Yeah. It can be, for me, like you said, metaphysical, quite a spiritual experience, because there's a place in me that, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. When I go to charge it up, I go, hey, universe, God, whoever would be a part of this, I give you permission to be in this with me. So it's extending beyond you. I'm not alone anymore. And I don't even know what is going to take on, but I know that something bigger than myself.
Yes.
I'm responding to. And that is that's the deepest level of the subconscious, when you connect into divine.
And it's the mystery and the awe of it.
Yeah.
That is not, it takes us outside of our daily, well, what am I going to make for dinner? And I have to, change my password on blah, blah, blah. It's like, it takes you into, I guess we would call it a sacred place.
It is. I believe that is. I believe it's just this very sacred space. There is a place in me. I've kind of identified like 5 different places. There's the unconscious me. That's the one who doesn't know where those dang keys are again. Kind of running around, right? There's the physical me, and that's the one who knows that I've got, my back hurts or I need to get some food or whatever. That's the physical me. Then there's the conscious me. That's the one who can tap into what I'm feeling and thinking. And there's the trauma me. That's the one who is wounded and's got all the things that have happened over the past that I'm always kind of moving through. And then there's the divine me. And the divine me actually has all of those answers, but it has to be accessed. It's like, I'm going to let you, the divine in me, run the show for a minute. I'm just going to trust that you know everything and you will never lead me into harm. And to me, that's the field line. It's like, I'm going to let the divine in me connect to the universe, that's connected to God, to connected to universal good. I want that to be a part of this experience. So, for instance, communication with my husband. I don't have those, I don't have the pathways, I don't have the modeling. But there is a divine in me who says, hey, right now we're going to get brave and you're going to say something you don't usually say, and we're going to do it in the kindest way possible. It's going to shift your whole world. So I'm going to stand here with you. It's that self-coaching. It's that trust of you as something beyond just the physical. It's beautiful.
That's it. I think that sums it up so nicely. It takes you in places that are truly mysterious, and that word accessing really feels appropriate. You're accessing things that, intellectually you're like, oh yeah, I know I got some issues around that. But then when you touch it, it's like, whoa, we could probably all I want to do right now is run and do a little drawing. But I think I'm going to go take a trail walk and think more about this. Tell me where people can find out more about this incredible process.
Sure. So mindfulline.com is the place where these workshops and things are. But what we've created is a just powerful club where you can come and draw once a week with a neurographic specialist. And we hit different subjects and we teach different types of drawings, different algorithms once a week. And I believe, I'm hoping I'm quoting this right, I believe it's $29 for the month.
Yeah, I heard that because it's like 90-some% off. And what a lovely way to be in community and to get off the phone and to explore, who you are. And
community. And it's because the club has been functioning for the past 3 months. And what's fun is that I see the same people showing up. And so I get to go, hey, I remember you did this. I know just a little teeny tiny bit about people's lives, and we're now showing up in community. Like, it's not just me sitting on a webinar looking at the chat and responding.
Yes,
Right?
I see.
I know what we drew on before. And when somebody asks, I can go, oh, yeah, okay, this is how you're going to handle this, and we're just going to keep drawing, but I'm so glad you told me that. Now I've got some understanding, so when they show up again, I'm like, hey, how'd that go? Right? We're actually showing up in community, which I think is such a beautiful, unique experience.
Absolutely. And in fact,
One club.
I'll say this to our audience now. I got so excited about this that I contacted Anne, and Mindful Line offered me an affiliate link. So you'll get a discount. It's mindfulline.com/zestful. And so if you're going to go ahead and look at this, go ahead and check out that link.
Yeah, and I believe $29 is the special that we've got going on.
It is the special, and it is so much better than a new fleece or a new whatever. It just,
well, for the value, I mean,
gosh, it's out of this world.
It's out of this world. Because it's giving real tools. It's not just coming and doing the drawing.
Gosh.
Although drawing with people just charges it up even more.
I can't even imagine, because I'm already charging it up.
Yeah, it's so fun. So great.
So, Anne, I just also wanted to ask you, because as I've told you, I am speaking about this nonstop to anyone who will listen, but how do they access your beautiful webinar if they're not on Facebook? Because that's where I got it. Can they get it through mindfulline.com?
Are you talking about the one that I did? I believe it was Unlocking Your Dream. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because I'm the drawer.
You're the drawer.
I'm not in charge of the technical.
I see.
But we can definitely get some of that information to you.
Well, my guess, and I think it's fairly educated, is if you go on Facebook and you search Mindful Line, I bet that
Mhm.
you will run across it. It
Yeah.
has been such a pleasure to speak with you about my new favorite subject
Mm.
and charging it up even more, and I so appreciate what you bring to it. You have such a gentle and lovely presence, and
Mhm.
I just can't wait to learn more, and I just appreciate you spending the time.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. Like I said, it's become my passion as well, obviously, because I've become a certified specialist, and to be able to share it and expand it. It is all over Eastern Europe. They've been
Mm,
doing this for the past 13 years. It's been there. This is not
mhm,
new. But for us to be able to get a hold of this level of mm, personal control, really, because you are the one who can draw and you don't have to go into the trauma places. This is one thing that I think is just beautiful. You don't have to go into those memories that cause so much trauma. We just
mhm,
let it touch for a second while we're drawing.
mhm.
And that gentleness about this level of healing, I just love and I'm very passionate about. So thank you for letting me express that and just share. I hope to see many, many of your listeners within that Mindful Line Club.
Thank you so much for joining us on Zestful Aging. If you like the podcast, please share it with some of your friends. Our theme song is All I Did Was Wait for You by Kjartan Abel. Visit Kjartan-Abel, that's KJARTAN-Abel, ABEL.com to hear more of Kjartan's work. And our technical director is Stephen Litweiler. And stay tuned next week for another interview with a fascinating and inspiring guest. See you then.